Hello there, Libra, and welcome to your May forecast. I can't believe we're actually already at May. This year seems to be speeding right past us, but indeed we are. If you're new to the channel, I want to say a big welcome to you, and if you're coming back, thank you so much for your continued support. For those of you that are brand new, just a reminder that you can always use my monthly readings for your sun, your rising, and also for your moon sign, and you can watch for someone in your life that you care about. If you don't know all of those different parts of your chart, just stick with the sign that you're born under and you should get more than enough information there. Now, every month I separate this into a few different parts. I'll start with channeled information. We'll get into that in just a second. And then I look at a full Celtic cross, which lets me see what the main energy or main information is for the month. And then I like to expand it to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. That way you get a really comprehensive look at everything that's going on, at least for this month, in your life. Now, if you like what you see here, please stick around until the end. In addition to a closing message, I always give some information on how you can support the channel, ranging from just liking and subscribing to joining me on Patreon to scheduling an appointment. Anything that you can do really does help make a difference, and I'll get into that at the end. So again, stick around if you like what you see. In the meantime, there's a lot to talk about, and I'd really like to get into that right now so we don't miss anything. So let's go ahead now and take a look at your channeled information. Each and every month I select a deck of cards, I meditate over those cards, and I see what comes through. Because I'm really sensitive to energy, sometimes I will actually feel things in my body, other times I will see images in my mind's eye, and sometimes I'll even hear things. For you this month, what I got was this overwhelming rush of energy coming in. So there are a couple ways you could take this. One, it could feel exhilarating, like you're plugged into a receptacle for power and all of a sudden you're able to receive. This could also be distracting. For those of you that might drink caffeine, you may have experienced this sensation where if you drink too much, it actually has a negative effect because you're no longer really giving yourself energy, you're just sort of jumpy and hyper aware of maybe how much you have to do but not able to focus. So as I just said, the first thing I want to talk about is that you are a natural channel this month. It's going to be important to focus. The reason being is when you have all of this energy, it has to go somewhere. If it doesn't, it just sort of gets pent up and it's not productive. Find something to channel that energy into, and you will then be able to receive more, to get more done, and it will just be this beautiful loop that you've created that is self-sustaining. But the second thing that I think is equally as important is to not underestimate your ability to do so and to not get in the way of your ability to do so. Because the reason that all of this is opening up for you is many of you have done a lot of work to get into a position where the time is now to start to execute on dreams, visions, plans, to start to take a leap of faith for change to happen, and to really clear the clutter in your life that might be keeping you in a position where it's comfortable but you're not really growing. As I'm looking at all of this, there are three sort of cards that come to mind for me. It's almost like you're going through a progression from the Magician to the Hermit to the Star. The Magician is that ability to channel, to funnel, to pull from the universe. The Hermit is when you realize kind of what your place is because you've done the work, you've done the retrospective, the introspective work, and sometimes you've pulled back a little bit. This is your coming out month. This is the Star card for you, if you will. And if you can truly focus that energy, then amazing potential is at your fingertips this month. So your journey right now is stepping just out of the either the Magician or the Hermit into the Star. It depends where you are in your sort of journey, but it's time to participate, it's time to execute, it's time to realize the dreams. This is going to be an active month, and the distraction of April is going to fade away, and this will require on your part the ability on each sort of day and each moment, I would say, to just really think, how is this helping me get to my goal? And if it's not, for some reason, then it's time to release that and to embrace something bigger, something better, something brighter. And to that end, let's take a look now at the cards and see what the messages are for this month. At this point, I like to remain quiet as I shuffle the deck. I'll rejoin you after I've pulled the full Celtic cross and the Catalyst card, and we'll discuss how it relates to you. Your catalyst this month is Queen of Wands, or Priestess in this particular deck. And I like the Queen of Wands card because it always indicates an ability to really be self-reliant. Also, with the Queen of Wands, there is an ability to take any situation and make the most of it. The traditional illustration will show a woman on a throne in what looks like kind of a desert, and there's a flower growing. And so it shows that there's really nothing that can stop the creative flow or the ability to take something and make it better. So I like that. The other side of this card, though, is that you can sometimes get in your own head. And that's what came through to me when I picked up the card. I heard in my head an echo saying, don't overthink, or don't get in your own way. And then I also felt a little bit of a pain around the third chakra, right around my belly button. And for me, what this indicates too is that there's something that you're either holding in that needs to come out into the open, or there's something that you've been trying to create in your life and the timing hasn't been right before, but now it is. In fact, it's kind of like kicking and fighting and wanting to get out. So there's a lot that you can do this month, but you're going to have to almost surrender to the flow to allow for it to happen. So let's go card by card. I'll help you break it down. I like the overall energy this month, but there is that note that you can't overthink it. You have to feel your way through situations this month, okay? Your center card is the Lovers. What a great card to come up for really everything this month, especially in the center position, because the Lovers card indicates that almost any situation you touch this month will be enhanced by the fact that people will view you in a slightly better light. So if you're trying to negotiate, if you're trying to make a proposal, propose to someone even in a sort of love situation, whatever it is that you're trying to communicate, convey, or somehow engage people in, they have a much higher likelihood this month to buy into it than they normally would. So take advantage of that. The Lovers card is also a reminder that you need to feel passion. You need to feel engaged this month. It can come in the way of a relationship, connecting with someone, loving someone, giving and receiving love. But it can also simply be using your passion to really do things that make you look forward to getting up in the morning. So it could be being of service to others. It could be the job that you're doing. You just love it. It could be something else that you're creating and you can't wait to share. But the key element in everything, the special sauce that needs to really be on each thing in your life, is the fact that you can't wait to do it, that you're loving it. That state of being in that frequency of love, I talked about this in one of my videos, it's an attractive force that's going to bring opportunity and also just make every day a lot more fun for you. So I want you to really feel connected on a heart level to what you're doing. And if you're not, the card that crossed the Lovers was the Ten of Swords. Notice that it's actually going straight through the heart space rather than the back. So on an energetic level, what this is saying for some of you, the reason when I pulled the Queen of Wands card, for instance, I was feeling some pain in my stomach. Some of you might also be holding pain in your heart. There's blockages in I would say the third and fourth chakras that you can open up and release this month. And if you don't kind of take care of those things, they're going to build up in the body, and I think those are the two areas where you're going to start to feel possibly some physical manifestations of that pain too. So don't beat yourself up over anything that didn't work in the past. Try to avoid unnecessary arguments. Release habits that are not bringing you closer to your goals. Habits in thought, also things like smoking, overeating, whatever your sort of addiction or whatever your potential lower frequency thought-related activity is, this is the month to let it go. I want to take a look at both deep past and recent past together. Your deep past is Death reversed, and your recent past is the Five of Pentacles. Let's start first with the Death card, and then I'll make connections to what we just saw in the Five of Pentacles. The fact that this is in the deep past is actually fortuitous. It means that many of you have already moved past what's going on here. You'll notice that this death is not so scary. It's actually going in to prune or to remove things that are no longer necessary in your life. Essentially, house cleaning. And so this house cleaning could occur anywhere where there's a feeling of stagnancy. And that really is what Death reversed is for me. Upright, it's transformation, change, evolution. Sometimes death and loss, but also potentially a doorway to creation. Reversed, it's all of those things blocked. I'd like you to think about life in general as sort of like through the lens of a gardener. And have you ever noticed that part of what makes trees healthy or plants healthy is when you go in and you prune growth that is either taking away from parts of the plant that need to grow, or maybe has actually stopped growing and is causing disease or stagnation in the plant itself. So if you take a rose, for instance, prune it back to the essential pieces, all of a sudden new growth happens. If we look at our life and sort of take a look at where we've learned everything we can, or where we're kind of stuck, if we can take those situations, those people, those feelings and thought patterns and release them, or cut them loose and be free, and that's really what the Fool card is showing in the ego this month, then all of a sudden you have room. You can breathe, you can grow, you can stretch, you can try new things. That's what you should be doing this month if you haven't already. If you've done it, that's great. That's why it's showing up in the deep past. The area that really can benefit most for your sign this month is worth, self-worth, and also resources. 5 of Pentacles, when it comes to relationships, often has to do with a feeling of being left out, particularly between parents and children, but any sort of relationship can manifest and come through with the 5 of Pentacles. And you'll notice this person feeling like it's almost like they're afraid to ask for what they want, and also a feeling of, am I good enough? Why did this happen? It's often coming through when your self-worth has taken a little bit of a hit. So my message to your sign this month, first and foremost, is you're okay. You're more than okay, actually. You're going to come through whatever challenges are at hand with shining colors here. We've got the 3 of Wands here, which says that maybe you won't see everything this month. We're looking here at May. So May, June, July. I would say July or even August for some of you. That's when everything opens up. That doesn't mean that this is going to be a terrible month. It doesn't mean that the next 3 months will be tough. That means you're in the breakthrough month where things are starting to change. The bigger the ship, the more that's at stake, the longer it takes to see that change start to happen. So be patient and be persistent. When I was writing down the channeled message, I almost wrote more, but the card was full. I was going to say, be consistent. That's going to be part of your success this month. So I'm glad that it came back just through the reading here. So know that what you're trying to do, it's underway, but it's about a quarter year away for you. There's about 3 months until it completely comes into fruition. But guess what happens this month? Again, in the crowning position, you're going to start to see some signs that things are happening. The 3 of Wands is usually a card where you're looking out at the horizon. This one, we actually already see the bounty in this boat here and the person in the ship. You're going to start to see some of that happen this month. And there's this feeling of release. Because the thing that I really like about the reversed Hangman is it's showing now that you're feeling, once you've made that decision, sometimes it's just a cognitive thing. You have to say, I'm ready for change. And then the sort of stress starts to melt away. You can do that this month if you'd like to. For some of you, the message isn't so much about pruning as it is about moving. And it's really interesting that you got both the Fool and the Hanged Man. What we see is someone that feels like they've lost control, that they don't know how to get back into a regular sort of rhythm of things. The reversal of this is showing almost like a leap, like I'm free, and you're not really tethered by something that you can't touch anymore. You've let it go, and you're starting to get your footing again. And that's what the Fool is about. Sometimes you don't know where you're going, and there's this feeling of trying to kind of feel out what's happening in your life. It's an exploration card, a risk card. It can also be very invigorating. This is a chance for you to leave behind the familiar and try something new. This could be love for many of you. Love, a new friendship, a new relationship, a new partnership. The card was reversed, and so is the crowning 3 of Wands. So between the 3 of Wands, 4 of Wands, and the Lovers at the center, there is a chance for a deepening of an existing relationship, which may take you by surprise. It could have been someone that you've known for a while, and all of a sudden you realize maybe this person is more than I thought. It could also be someone else that comes in your life, but I think there is an element of surprise and cosmic timing to this. Don't rush it. If you're trying to bring love into your life, Guess what we have here in the desired action space here? It's a patience card. The Four of Swords means please keep doing what you're doing. This is the consistency message. Give yourself proper time to rest, to meditate, and don't rush things, because what you're trying to create is going to happen. Maybe just not this month, maybe not everything this month. But what I did see happening for you this month is a shift when it comes to your finances and your self-worth, a lack of stagnation if you really allow for that to happen, a feeling of freedom, an opportunity to let go of pain in your life, and by doing so, welcome in love. All those things are really, really good. And I would say that center card, and I think I missed this message initially when I was looking at the lovers, is also just to practice self-love. Make sure that you are happy with how you're living your life, who you are becoming, who you've become. Know that that's constantly in flux and constantly something that you can change. Let's get to the outcome card, which is exciting as well. So we have the Queen of Wands here, and now we have the Knight of Wands here. All of your Wands cards this month were reversed. And what this is, again, going back to, except for the catalyst, is really to not overthink, to move. I think actually exercise is really important this month, but also just across each day to stay as active as you can, to really not overthink, to start to just see things coming into focus. As long as you do that, you're not going to lose your momentum. And once you have that momentum, everything is starting to come into focus, come into fruition, and I think you're going to feel a lot better. I like the energy of May better than last month. And I think it's more on par with what I was seeing in, February or March. March and May seem to be pretty much in parity. I think April, there was a lot of scattering of your energy. And this month, it's about bringing it back together and finding a way to get razor sharp in how you decide to, as we were talking about earlier, if you're going to be the star, how you're going to shine those beautiful rays of energy, of resources in your life. One other thing with the Five of Pentacles, don't be afraid to communicate and ask for what you need in your life. And also don't be afraid to initiate a conversation. The Five of Pentacles can be sometimes a card of being too timid. And when we looked at the catalyst, which is really what's trying to push you and drive you this month, the Queen of Wands is not timid. She's not afraid to stand up and ask for whatever she needs in her life. She's also not afraid to say no if something doesn't feel right anymore. So find your voice this month, stay with the momentum and with the sort of feeling of passion in your life, and I think these things are going to bring you into a really positive place. Let's expand your forecast. We'll begin with your health card and see what's coming through for your mind, your body, and your spirit. Your health message this month is to really pay attention to your sleeping habits and also what dreams are coming through. There's great intuitive energy and information that's coming there, but first and foremost, we saw this with the Four of Swords here. How is your sleep? Are you getting enough? Are you feeling rested? And if there's something going on in your body that's holding you back, a lot of times when I see the Ten of Swords, it's saying you need a massage, you need acupuncture, or you just need to really find a way to kind of decompress some of that stress, then you need to do that. That's really what this is saying. Whatever it is that's keeping you from a good night's sleep, please allow for that to happen. Allow for some sort of healing, mending, or attention in that place to happen. If it's dreams that are kind of keeping you awake at night, or if you find like you're having either lucid dreaming, nightmares, or that you have these really, really intense dreams where you wake up and you can remember everything, that's your third eye opening, and there's probably some decoding that you can do. What I typically do is I take some notes. You can either do it in your phone or on old school, on a piece of paper, like in a notebook. And it's better if it's a notebook because you can start to, you can date it and then take a look back over the course of the year and see, all right, I dreamed about this on this day, and then 2 or 3 months later I noticed that this happened, or that afternoon I noticed something happened. You can start to figure out what your signs and symbols are. Just like the cards that I'm using today, we start off with an alphabet of symbols, basically. You can figure out what your symbols are and start to decode. And so this could be an exciting time for you. One last note that came through before we move on to wealth. With dreams, be careful when you're driving, operating machinery, or even just walking. I think that there's a increased likeliness this month that you could be distracted or daydream, and that came through as I looked at the cards. So try not to multitask when you really need to be focusing on the environment around you, okay? Let's move along now to wealth, knowing that wealth is actually looking at not just your money, but opportunities that are coming to you, your self-worth, and any sort of habits that are surrounding how you deal with both money and opportunities. All right, I'll pull the camera down, shuffle, and we'll take a look. You have a powerful message in your wealth sector this month. Artemis comes through, and I want to talk about the goddess first, and then we can cover some of the captions on this card. If you look closely, you can see Artemis holding a bow and arrow. She, of course, is the goddess of the hunt, and probably more recognizably, the goddess of the moon. Her twin was Apollo, so of course I know a little bit about Artemis. What I like about Artemis is this is a card of empowerment. What she's saying to you this month is don't be afraid of the unknown. The moon in tarot really represents illusions, fears, doubts, and uncertainties. If there's something going on in your finances, in your work, or somehow tied up to maybe even the house that you live in, something with contracts, something with money, something with your resources, and you feel uncertain, uncomfortable, uninformed, this is the month to bring that into the light, to seek out better counsel, perhaps. Maybe even it could be anywhere from a lawyer to an accountant to an investment specialist. If you're not happy with how it's been managed and what's going on, change. That's really what we're supposed to be doing this month, pruning, changing, and allowing for new things to come in. So that's the message coming through with money. And then don't be afraid to take necessary steps to protect yourself. So if someone is doing something wrong, this is a card of legal action as well, because Artemis would stand up for herself. And it's also a card of research. Get the information that you need to know what you need to know. She hunts, she finds, she goes out there even if nobody else knows what to do, and she's the one that's going to go there and make it happen. So find your inner goddess, your inner Artemis this month, and really get informed and know that you have the power to make it happen. And that goes back to the channel information here, which was don't underestimate yourself. Maybe someone in the past, a parent, a teacher, a friend, made you feel like you couldn't handle something. And this is the self-worth piece. You can do it this month, okay? The other piece of this, I'm going to read the captions now. We have guardian, so protect yourself, protect others, and in particular, it's really small, so I'll read it for you. It says, you and your loved ones are safe and spiritually protected. This is a sort of affirmative note, which is saying that if you don't feel like that's happening, make it happen this month. So as simple as kind of looking at the security in your house, to the security of your passwords, to making sure that if you have small children and you're not comfortable with them using the devices, you make sure that you're somehow keeping an eye on those as well. Take care of everything this month when it comes to safety. And then when we're looking at your self-worth, remember, other people may have underestimated you. I don't, and you shouldn't. And once you understand that, then you turn this card into a better card. Maybe we can move from the 5 to the 7 and eventually the 10, but you have to start feeling the self-worth first, okay? We looked at health and wealth. Let's take a look at love and relationships now. Remember earlier when I said things are kind of falling into cosmic timing? I think the same is true for love situations in your life. Some of you may be feeling like, is it ever going to happen? Or you might be in, this can also just be friendship. Say you're married and your marriage is fine. This can also be about how much energy you're putting into something else in your life, a relationship or a partnership, and you're just feeling like it's a one-way street. The caption on this says there's not enough attraction or chemistry to keep this relationship going. You could also put the word reciprocity in here. So whether it's feeling of love towards someone that someone that you desire to have a relationship with, or someone with whom you've been either assigned to work with, whether it's school or at work, or maybe you've chosen to partner up with. there could be some questions this month about commitment. The good news is we have the Four of Wands card here in your environment, which shows me that I think you can heal that. And if you let them know, particularly if it's an issue of reciprocity, this is a time where you can either gently nudge them and say, hey, I've been working late the last couple of days. I'm going to take off early tonight. Do you mind covering? You can also simply say, I really need you to do this and this for me. It would mean a lot. Plus, I've been handling this. Just illustrate what's been going on, lay it out in front of that person and give them a chance to step up. Sometimes you have to speak up so that these people can step up. And I think that's the message there. And if there's something that is too difficult, it could be just a friendship where you feel like you're constantly picking up the phone, you're constantly making plans, and the other person just sits and waits. This is a chance to, we're talking about pruning, maybe wait and see how long it takes for that person to call you and how you feel during that absence. This will give you a chance to reevaluate exactly why you are engaging with that person or that activity. Because at the beginning I was mentioning about self-love. This could be a chance to cut out an addiction in your life. You'll have a chance this month to find people, places, and things that have sort of balanced love, give and take. Let's go ahead now and take a look at your Destiny card. Destiny, of course, is a chance for you to look at your overall trajectory and see if you like where you're headed. And let's see what that message is for you. So we have the Green Man card. It was reversed. There are a couple messages on the Green Man card. I want to pull it in the upright position so you can see it. First of all, it's about creation, and it's reminding you to ground yourself in what it is you're trying to bring forth in the world, whether it's love, whether it's service, whether it's some sort of a product, whatever it is. This is your month to really start to create it. For some of you, that comes after you've let go of things, and we really have complementary energy here of death and rebirth. And there's also a message here of making sure that you feel that flow, which we talked about earlier. Sometimes it just feels good. And when I looked at the Catalyst card this month, I definitely got that feeling that you need to get out of your head, you just need to flow, and synergy is all about that. Once you do that, then the abundance comes through. To me, the green represents not only the heart space, but also growth, abundance, money. So I feel like you're well on your way to overcoming either the resource shortage or self-confidence shortage that many of you may have felt in months past. Let's go ahead and review everything that we talked about, and then we'll wrap up for this month. Beginning with your channeled information this month, there are two messages really. First, don't underestimate your own ability to make things happen, to be able to steer the ship as we saw with your catalyst. And also remember that you are a channel this month, but it's important for you to focus the energy that's coming through. Because if you don't, it'll be a lot like the previous month where things can be kind of scattered. The catalyst was to really stay out of your head, but where it's important to fight for what you really want, what you need in your life, to speak up. And to take those great thoughts and ideas and bring them into fruition. You want to live in a place each and every day where you are kind of heart-centric, unconditional love, passion, a sense of engagement. Also know that if there's anything that requires other people's approval or buy-in this month, you're getting that with the Lovers. Release any pain in your life. Also be kind to yourself. This is as much about self-love as it is about avoiding an argument or letting go of anything from the past. Speaking of that, this is really a month for the pruning that we talked about. I like to pull this card upright again. This is Death as the gardener, trying to find what needs to stay, what needs to go, and allowing for new growth. Transformation or death, it's a card that allows for both functions, but you have to let go of whatever isn't working in order for the growth to happen. Self-confidence may have taken a hit in the past, but it doesn't have to stay there. This is the month for repair to happen. Stay true to your vision. With the Three of Wands, that's always on the horizon. The reversal's just showing some slight delays for many of you. If you're feeling stuck, I want you to release the idea that you are. The Hanged Man sometimes is a self-perpetuating card. The way to let go of it is simply to feel that this is the month for change. Risk, hope, travel, opportunity, all of these things are intrinsic to the Fool card. So this is a month to expand. Don't feel like you are any longer trapped in your old patterns or in the past. Relationships may be a source of struggle for some of you, but there's a chance of forgiveness. For some of you, even letting someone new into your heart. So put some energy into that. Be patient. Things that you want often don't happen in the time that you want. Just allow for things to cosmically happen when they should. And if you want them to happen a little sooner, just put out to the universe that you're ready. You're ready now. And then let go of that rather than holding on to it. There is a chance for love for many of you. We have both the Knight and the Queen of Wands coming through. Timing is important. And also remembering to keep an open mind because this Wands card was reversed. For your health this month, one thing that I saw that came through at the very end was to make sure that you're not daydreaming when you're driving the car or operating any sort of equipment or walking along the street. Keep your eyes engaged on your environment and try to keep your brain also on the task at hand. Focus on your quality of sleeping, and also don't be afraid to write down your dreams, particularly the ones where you're remembering all those details. Doing this will not only help you understand and decode those symbols, but will also open up your intuition. It's a great device for doing that. For wealth, it's important this month for you to go after what you want. Artemis is the goddess of the hunt. You may need to seek out the knowledge that you need. You may need to find people in your life that are willing to really advocate for you. Choose wisely when it comes to lawyers, when it comes to accountants, and anybody that's really handling your well-being. Take a look at security in the house, security online, protecting yourself, protecting your family. That's all key. As we look at love, reciprocity is the name of the game. Even though this says unrequited, you really want to make sure that whatever you're giving to someone else, you're also receiving something similar, so that the exchange is even, so that there's reciprocity, and so that you feel synergy. The card was reversed, but this is all about growth. So I think that once you are willing to let go of whatever isn't working, once you're able to recognize who's really accepting the love, then love finds you, and so does expansion, so does growth. And what we're seeing here in your crowning card, the Three of Wands, you start to see everything coming into fruition, and you have a very, very productive 3 months ahead. So overall, some pretty exciting stuff coming through for the month of May, and I hope that you got what you needed from this reading to help you navigate, make some decisions, and to channel and focus all of this energy that wants to come through. I'm excited for you, and I can't wait to see how this works for many of you. If you ever feel like you want to talk a little bit more in depth about a relationship, a big decision, or something else that's going on in your life, feel free to reach out to me. You'll notice that if you click on the corner of the video, there are 3 cards. The first card is a way to check out rates and availability. So feel free to click that. It's also the first link below the video. And if it makes sense, I'm here for you. At the beginning of the video, I talked about how you could give back if you enjoyed what you saw here. The second card in the second link is a perfect way to do that, and in a very small way if you'd like. Something as small as $1, it can be one time for the whole year, or you can do Patreon where you can give $1 per month and stop at any time. These 2 methods are fantastic for not only allowing me to buy new cards, I was using a new deck for your sign this month, but it also helps me set up the time that I need to do this. It typically takes me a full 12 to 13 days to do all of these videos. I take anywhere between 3 to 5 hours for each video. So it's a long production process for this 35 minutes that you see. And then I put all of that together in a newsletter and put it all up online. So there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes. So if you like what you see, please give back. Please know that it supports this production process, and I appreciate that. If you are not at a place where you can give back financially, but you'd like to support the channel, the third link and the third card is a way that you can connect with me on social media. So when you like, subscribe, and share this with others, it really does help the health of the channel. And the reason I show up every month is to really empower you. So as you share it with other people, it helps kind of light up the planet in a way where we're all going into a higher frequency. I talk every month about us being lighthouses, and that's really what I'm trying to do. So when you share it across Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and your own sort of friends just emailing one of my newsletters, that makes a big difference. So please keep doing that and know that it means a lot to me. All right? Let's end with your closing notes on what you can do this month to really tap into your power. You know, when I looked at my channeled information, it was saying to focus and channel, and your outcome card here, or not your outcome, but your destiny card was the green man, or the synergy card. I want you to see yourself this month as being able to take all of the abundance that wants to come in. Because when I'm looking at recent past, it feels like this lesson still wants to kind of knock on your door a little bit. So I'm going to tell you a couple of things. First of all, you are worth all of the positive energy, love, and opportunity that is coming to you this month. accept it with open arms and realize that it's because of the hard work that you've done, it's because of the service to others, it's because of your empathy that this is all happening. So trust in the work you've done, trust in the timing, and don't be afraid to open up and say, I'm ready for it now, not just soon, but now. And then let it go and trust that your prayer has been heard, that your intention is clear, and then consistently show up every day and keep working on what it is that makes you feel a sense of joy, passion, and love. It's that sense of being in the frequency of love that's really going to keep you engaged and be sort of a magnet for all the abundance that wants to come through. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here, to be a part of your journey, and to help you expand your consciousness. That's really what I'm here for. Again, I mentioned in my newsletter, I mentioned at the close of many videos that my goal is to create teachers to spark intuition and insight in all of you, and hopefully we kind of function as lighthouses to help guide those who are also trying to find the same things in their lives. From Apollo, who just woke up from a nap, and we just wish you all the best now and always. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here. Take care, guys. I'll see you next month.